Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Harrison Schenk here, the guy behind Save Your Sons, co-founder of Sherwood Kids. How's it going, Harrison?
Dude, so good. Rim, I've been looking forward to this one. I've been trying. Rim started this podcast. When did you get going? Like a couple months ago.
Yeah, man, I'm
Um,
like 13 episodes in, bro.
and I've been bugging him since day one because I saw it and I was like, this is cool. We need more of this. And I was like, dude, let me get on there. And so we finally made it happen. And I'm grateful, dude. I'm grateful that we're getting to chat officially, formally like this. And I'm grateful for everybody who's listening.
Yeah, same here, bro. Look, I've been wanting you to have to have you on the show since day one, but I was trying to wait for me to gain more followers and for it to be
Whatever,
worthwhile, at
dude.
least,
I'll
some
come on it
subs.
again in 6 months. Who cares? It's all good.
All right, appreciate that, bro. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Look, you've been anonymous with Save Your Sons until recently, the big reveal, right? So let us know, like, who is Harrison Shank? How old are you? How many kids you got? That sort of thing.
So yeah, I'm Harrison. I live in North Carolina, Raleigh, which is where I was raised. And I created the Save Your Sons account shortly after our first boy, our first kid was born. And I created the account in August of 2020, I think. And our little guy, our first, was born in May of that year. Really, it was just I think most dads will identify with this, and this is what I normally kind of say is that you become a dad, and all of a sudden you realize, well, I want to. You start thinking really intentionally about legacy for the first time, and you start thinking, well, what kind of world do I want my kids to live in? How can I impact that world from where I sit? I'm in North Carolina. I'm in the southeastern U.S. I'm pretty big town, but it ain't a city. It ain't an international city. So what can I do to create the world I want for my kids? And for me, the way it manifested was I just started writing stuff online about stuff that was important to me when I was in my formative adolescence, early 20s, that helped me through that period that I wanted them to know, that I wanted them to understand. And I think it shows that a lot of people were ready for that message because the message really took off way faster than I ever expected it to. And here we are 4 years later. I'm full-time entrepreneur online, mostly through social media. And we have two little boys and a little girl who is due any day now. So
Oh man.
literally could be this week, probably next week, but any day now. So we're battening down the hatches here, and we're preparing as best we can. But she'll be down here with me. If we had recorded this in a week and a half, we'd probably have a little baby. Because this is my office area in my basement,
Right.
and all our kids so far have hung out with me down here to give my wife a break when they were really little. So you would have had her, but hopefully everything goes well. She'll be here next week or two.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. Look,
Thank you.
if you get the call, we're gonna pause this thing. We'll start this thing another time, bro.
That's right. Actually, let me make sure I'm not on silent.
Yeah, turn
Uh,
that on, man. Come on.
yeah. There we go.
Don't want to
I
miss
can
that
see
call, do
it.
you? That's so cool, man. Look, I don't know. When I started this thing, Dads with Mics, the idea was to have a podcast because I just like to have conversations with other guys about parenting and dad stuff in general. And I was looking online and I started on X maybe a year and a half ago. I wasn't posting anything back then. I was just observing and try to find stuff. And I came across your account honestly by accident. And I was telling you this offline, like you and Tyler Tote to me are the OGs. And I don't know, it might not be the case. You were probably following other guys before you, but how did you come about other accounts and were you engaging with them first? And did they give you the idea for Save Your Sons or was that all you?
Tyler's my boy, actually, by the way. P.S. I remember when we met, I think I had like 1,000 followers and he had like 2,000 or something.
Wow.
And it was really shortly after, it was late 2020. And I hope he hears this. His bio on X was so funny. It was like ranked world's number one girl dad. And it was because it was before they had adopted the other two guys.
Right.
And so he was the girl dad of X, and I was the boy dad. And we started chatting and became friends. I went on he had a podcast for a while. I don't know if he's still
Yeah.
doing it, but I went on that one early on too, and we've kept in touch, and he's great. And honestly, dude, to answer your question, I was actually, a lot of people don't know this. This is kind of a scoop
Nice.
for dads with mics.
Let's do
But
it.
I was in college in I graduated in 2009, and Twitter came out when, like, '07, something like that. And when I was a senior in college, '08, I was an early adopter of Twitter. So I had like a account, an old Twitter account, one of the first probably million accounts on Twitter. And so I really I liked it. I would tell everyone about it. I'd be like, there's this new thing. It's better than Facebook. It's better than what I was before Instagram. It was like, you guys, Twitter. It's cool. It's like you use real fast, stay up to date. And so I was a power user for a while on my old account. It's since deleted. So if anyone tries to go look for it, you're not gonna find it. But it was but I do think there was something to that, those early days where I really got a feel for how the platform worked and how and what did well and what didn't do well. And a lot of that stuff hasn't changed. A lot of it has changed. We can talk about social
Yeah.
media and growing an audience, which I obviously know a thing or two about. But it was I think a lot of those early hours sort of prepared me without me knowing it. I mean, I was just messing around. I was an idiot 21-year-old kid. But I think those early days really sort of made me comfortable with the medium, comfortable with the platform, to where by the time 2020 rolled around 12 years later, I had given up on it. I hadn't messed with it in a couple years, but it was easy for me to kind of pick back up and say, all right, I remember this. I know how these things work. I know how quote tweets work, replies, retweets, all that stuff. So it probably gave me a little bit of a background knowledge on just sort of how content moves on the internet, on
Okay.
social media.
Because
And I
now
took that
you're
and
at
built on it
over 500,000 followers now, and you
on
achieved that
X.
on X.
Over a million, bro, everywhere else. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, over 1 million.
A
That's
million.
huge.
Yeah, yeah. Now X is like 580 something. I've been hovering around there for a while, ever since starting at Sherwood. I haven't focused on the content like I want to, but I'm gonna start that again soon.
Okay.
And yeah, 580X, almost 300,000 on Instagram, and then a bunch of emails, bunch of Facebook, TikTok, couple other Twitter accounts, couple other all kinds of random stuff. But yeah, yeah, man, that's what it
Did you
is.
ever imagine accomplishing this much talking about dad stuff?
No, no way. Oh, and there's still a bunch I hadn't accomplished. I still feel like I'm like, I got so far to go. But I do try to remind myself that even, there's a huge spectrum, vast experience levels of experience on the entrepreneurial journey for guys. And I know that guys look at where I am and want to get there, and a big part of what I do is help guys get there. And I'll say, no way did I ever think. I don't think, I think I knew that there was something wrong. I definitely knew that there was something wrong with how we talked about men and fatherhood as a society, whether it was in the media or it was in the legal system or just generally online, whatever it was. And so I knew that I could come in with a little bit of a different message, which is that the core of my message is that dads are important, and you shouldn't be ashamed to be a man. Because you should be happy with that you get to be a man, because it comes with a lot of really awesome stuff. And
Yeah.
and it seems like such an obvious, simple thing, but people really attach to it because they were starved of that. That message has been hidden for so long, and stamped down under by all the negative, toxic garbage that
Right.
dominates our media. And so it was, I knew that there was an audience for it. I didn't expect what happened. No way, dude. I thought, it's funny, dude. You might be able to find it like way back. I made a tweet when I had like a couple hundred followers, and I was like, face reveal at 10,000 followers or something. I was like, just, but it was a shit post. Can we cuss on here? It was just like a
Yeah,
joke,
it's all good.
because in my head I was like, I'll never in a million years get 10,000 followers. No way. So I was like, yeah, I can say this and it'll never have to do it. And then sure enough, in like 2 or 3 months, I had 10,000 followers on Twitter. So no way did I expect it. And really every day that I work is sort of what how can I use how can I use this position that people have, people have followed me for a reason. How can I do best by them while also doing best for my family and for myself, because I want to keep leveling up and I want to keep getting better, and it's all related and it's all part of the same thing, and it's the ride of a lifetime, dude.
Dude, it's almost sounds like you're living the dream because if I'm not mistaken, you used to work corporate, right?
So my background is I'm trained as a lawyer. A lot of people don't know that. I went to law school. I graduated in 2015. I learned really early on that I didn't want to be a lawyer. I think probably after my first year, I knew that it wasn't for
Wow.
me,
Okay.
but I was too stubborn to quit. So, so I finished. It took me like 4 years instead of three.
Because it's a lot of studying to give up after 1 year, right?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not, well, and I didn't want to be a quitter. I was like, in my head, I probably should have quit, but in my head at the time, I was like, there's nothing worse than like a guy who starts law school and drops out. What, do I want to be a dropout? I'm not gonna be a dropout. So I stubbornly finished, and then after that, I went to work for a startup because I knew part of my problem with the law world. Now, to be fair, you can be an entrepreneur and a lawyer. There's a million great examples of that. But in my head, it was like you work for a firm, you don't just have one boss, every partner is your boss, and you're working your butt off, and everyone else in there is trying to come after you. All the other associates, you're competing with them all the time, and it just wasn't for me. And so a big part of it was I knew I wanted to build something that was mine. I knew I had this entrepreneurial streak, but I didn't really understand what that meant. But
Okay.
I knew that for me to ever get excited about something, I had to have serious skin in the game from day one, and it had to feel like mine. And I didn't like people telling me what to do, for better or worse. I still don't like people telling me what to do. And and so I went and worked for a startup, and it was a sports marketing company. It was based in Raleigh, where I live, but I worked in Nashville. So I was in law school in Philly, moved to Nashville with my now wife, then girlfriend, and lived there for a couple years working for this sports marketing startup, and did that for 6.5 years until 2022, when I left that to do this full time, and hadn't looked back.
Wow, man, that's really impressive. And I think a lot of guys in the dad community are looking to do that too. Uh, so how was that? How did that feel? Just being able to just quit and do this full time. And look,
Bro,
let's face it, you're living with a purpose now, right? You're living your purpose. You must be f feeling fulfilled every day now.
it's the best thing in the world. It was the best day of my life. And I liked my job. I didn't hate my job. I liked my boss. I had one boss. The CEO was my boss. And I respected him enough to where I could handle having him as a boss. I could never have someone as a boss who I didn't respect.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be a man with a boss when I'm 40. I'm 37 now. And I was like, I don't want to be a man with a boss. I don't want to be a 50-year-old guy and have another man who's my boss. Screw that. No way. I'm the boss. And so, and so every, like, even though I loved my company and I loved the CEO, and I still talk to him today, I knew I needed to do, it had to be mine. It had to be completely me. It had to be, I don't know. It's just, I can't explain it. That's what I needed. And so that day when I told him, I left in September and I told him in June that I'd been doing. He didn't know what I'd been doing because it had been going for about 2 years. And when my income online was like two, three times whatever it was at the company, and I had saved, I knew my goal was to save a year's salary from my company in cash, which once so I'd done that, and I'd been consistently two, three X in my income from the job with online income. And to me, that made me comfortable enough that I developed the skills to that no matter what happened, I was always going to have these really valuable skills. And so it made
Yeah.
me comfortable saying it's time to move on. And that conversation, dude, I was nervous, but it was the best feeling in the world. And every single day, you're right, dude. Every single day is amazing. I do whatever I want. And what I want is to build awesome businesses and build really cool stuff that helps guys, but is also lucrative and moves money around, and it's fun, and it's what I love doing. I think it's what I was put on this earth to do, to help other guys find that level of autonomy with their families. And that's a big part of why I'm starting the Father Eyes incubator as well, fathereyes.com. If any of your listeners are interested in building a business to either leave their job or have more disposable income so they can spend less time struggling at their job, whatever it is, that's what that's for. But
Okay.
it was the best feeling in the world. Every day is the best feeling in the world. Now, there's a lot of stress that comes with it too, because you're the man. Now you're the man,
Yeah.
and you got to stay. You've got to perform. You can't take 0 days. You can take some, but not many. And if if you're used to kind of coasting at your job, a lot of guys I talk to are like that. They've got, a nice salary. They don't have to work that hard. They know there's a ceiling on what they're going to achieve, but it's the golden handcuff thing.
Right.
Um, and if you're okay with that, stay there. But if you have that sort of itch, like, nah, I don't want a boss. I don't want a friend. I'm the boss. I'm the man.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, then you can do it. Lots of guys
So then
are.
what would you tell the guys like that that are looking to get out of corporate or whatever situation they are in and they want to be able to work for themselves one day? What do you advise to them in terms of should they go all in now, like don't waste time, do it, or build a side hustle on the side, keep your 9 to 5, build on the side, and once you get, it might be different for everybody, but like let's say you match your income at your 9 to 5, then you can quit and be full time on your now full gig. So what do you think about that?
I think it would be different. It would depend on their situations. And a lot of my clients, what I did before Sherwood and before Father Eyes was purely one-on-one consulting with guys and with businesses. And I had a content marketing agency that I started, and a consulting business were kind of my two main things until very recently. So a lot of guys that fit that mold. And what I would tell them is you got to know your numbers. You got to know what makes sense for you. And for some guys, they're in a financial position where they can just screw off and say, "Screw you, boss. Screw you, job. I'm out of here." I wasn't in that position. We were fine when I was at my company, but I had to work really hard to develop the skills that made me feel secure, but also just the cash that made me sleep at night
Right.
in case something happened. Who knows? And so I think it depends on kind of where you're at. But one thing I'd say to everybody is just do it. Just start. And the big mistakes I made early on, I made a bunch, a bunch. But the main thing I would coach guys in, the big misconception I think guys have is they want to like dip their toe in. And so they want to sell something that's like low risk, it's really cheap. So my first product I ever sold was back in 2021. It was a community. It was called Save Your Sons University. I made great friends in there. I still got great relationships from guys that were in there, but I was selling it for $5 a month.
Okay.
$5 a month. Do you know how many, and run the numbers, bro? How many people do I need to sell to make $10,000 a month from this crap? It was just so hard. And it's not that much easier. This is another misconception. It's not that much easier to sell something for $5 a month than it is to sell something for $100 a month or $200 a month or $1,000 or $10,000. It's not that much different. But the misconception that guys have is like, well, I'll go for scale. You ain't going for scale. You're not going for scale. I had 50,000 followers when I launched Save Your Sons University and got like 200 of them to sign up my first month. You think that guys think that just because they have this magic huge follower number that like half of them are going to buy whatever they put out. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And so I tell guys, start big. Figure out something that you can sell, that you can feel good about. You can get good results. You can do what you say you're going to do for people, but sell something that costs thousands of dollars, not dozens of dollars. And it'll get you there a lot faster. You'll get a lot better, a lot quicker. And it'll
Okay.
take less time. It'll take less time out of your day too, because you have one or two clients or whatever you're selling versus trying to create content, emails, marketing funnels, running ads, whatever else you're doing if you're going for small numbers.
So no $5 ebook.
dude, friggin', you're just wasting time. If you're gonna sell something for $5, you should give it away for free, or sell
Right.
it. Yeah, sell it for $5, but have something else that you're gonna sell to the people who bought it.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
don't think that those little $5 are gonna add up to $10,000 a month income for you, because that's gonna take a decade for most people.
Right. Look, the big thing right now online is coaching, right? Everybody wants to get into coaching, online coaching, whether it's fitness, parenting, marriage coaching. That's the big gig right now for a lot of guys. To get there, you need a big following, wouldn't you say?
No,
No?
not definitely not. No, no, you need a great offer to get there.
Okay.
You don't even I've had coaches who do $10,000 a month with a couple thousand followers as clients easily. Easily. So what you need is a great offer. And a great offer is something that has a really tangible outcome for people, that it's like the classic fitness. When I've had a ton of clients who are fitness coaches, and a lot of my guys who were doing 5 figures a month with really low following counts, they were fitness coaches. And what it is you want to say, you're going to lose 30 pounds. You're going to lose 30 pounds working with me, and it's going to take you 4 months or whatever it is. And you can sell that for $2,000, $3,000. That's what they do, because what you're getting people is really measurable. It's
Right.
really tangible. In the prospect's mind, they can say, "Oh, I can visualize what I would look like without 30 pounds of fat hanging around my gut and my hips, because that's what I looked like in college." And if
Yeah.
they can visualize it, then they're willing to pay for it. And they don't necessarily care that you have this huge following. That doesn't really factor into it. What factors
Okay.
into it is that you caught them at the right time with great content that shows your expertise, and then you talked to them. You just talked to them. Maybe they commented on your post and they were like, "Hey, this was really good." Strike up a relationship with them. Hit them up in the DMs. I think it's a pretty big misconception that you need a huge following. Now you don't want to. You need to be put together. You don't need a. You can't have a crappy online presence, but and like you can't have zero followers, that because then they're gonna be like, "Who is this guy?" But
Right.
you know, a couple thousand followers,
Okay.
easy, easy to rock a fitness coaching business with that. You're going to be the difference is you're going to be doing a little bit more outbound if you have a smaller following, versus a bigger following saves you from the outbound, because you're more likely to get inbound people. But you can
Right.
get inbound people with a small following too. There's lots of ways to do that, and we teach guys how to do that all the time. So what I would do, this is how I coach all my clients now,
Okay.
is forget about the follower count for now. Forget about it. What you need to do is create great, helpful content that solves people's problems, and you need to get eyeballs on it. So you need to make sure that you're getting views, and there's a few ways to do that. You can either run ads, or you can join a network of guys who are going to support you and comment and help you in the algorithm. And then you need to get every single follower onto an email list as soon as
Right.
freaking possible.
Yeah.
Onto an email list. And email still it's so much more intimate. It's if you're in their inbox, you're in their world. If you're on their Twitter feed, you're not dude. They see 1,000 tweets a day. Now they see 1,000 emails a day too. But if you're in their inbox and you're having a conversation with them, or you're sending them valuable stuff in email, it's a completely different feeling that they get, versus like some influencer spouting off about keto or whatever he's talking about today.
Right.
So that's the strategy that I employ for everybody I work with now. Is you need the content. Content marketing is good, but don't chase a huge following. And unless if you want to build a coaching or a consulting business or an agency business or a business to business marketing agency, whatever it is you want to build, it's much more important to have really, really solid content, and you get all of those people onto an email list as soon as possible. You create an offer that you can validate and you can sell as soon as possible. And that offer should be several $1,000s, and you start selling it ASAP, and you prove that you can get the results that you say you're going to get for people. And then you're off to the races. That's the strategy.
Man, this is valuable stuff, and I hope a lot of people listen to this because the feeling you get from these online groups and from talking to people on X, is, man, how do I get more distribution? How do I get more eyes on my profile and impressions? It's always about impressions, right? Everybody's like obsessed with this stuff and their follower count. And you kind of understand it because you look at guys like yourself and guys like Tyler who's got like thousands of followers. And the number one question people are asking themselves, man, how do you get there? How is Save Your Sons at over 500,000 followers on X? How do you do it? So how did you do it?
I friggin' worked my butt off. I posted every day, multiple times a day, wrote millions of words, millions, literally millions of words. So anyone who's saying, how do they do it? Where's your millions of words? You don't have them. You haven't done it. So that's what it is. Literally millions, millions of words written online over
Anything
four
you
years.
notice that works better than something else? Like, is it threads? Is it long posts? Is it videos? What's working right now?
The best thing on X right now is definitely long form with video. I call them mixed media.
Okay.
So you want to create you find a video or use it, create your own video. I mean, random dude, your podcast is perfect. Create little uh
Clips.
what are they called? Portrait mode video, portrait video is not landscape, portrait.
Yeah.
And of like the best bits of your show, of your guests, and then or you saying something awesome, and then write about it too. So write 200-300 words about it, not nothing crazy.
Okay.
There's a big diminishing return on like really really long form posts. You should save that for threads. If it's over 5,500 to 1,000 words, it should probably be a thread.
Okay.
But 500 or less, that range, perfect for long form. Mix it with a video, make them complement each other because all that matters. I've been saying this for years since Elon took over, whenever that was, 2 years ago. I've
Yeah.
been I've been I've been trying to beat people over the head with this. And finally Elon vindicated it because this was a theory that I had just based on how things moved. And finally, like 3 days ago, Elon vindicated it. But I've been saying it for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. All that matters is how long people spend on your post. That's it. That's
Right.
all that matters. That is the only thing. Likes don't matter. Retweets don't matter. Comments matter only insofar as they make people spend more time reading the comments.
Okay.
So
Makes
if
sense.
that's why if you have a really controversial post with 1,000 comments, it's going to continue to go viral because everyone's like, oh, let me go get in the comments and read what people said. That counts. So every time somebody sees a post on their timeline that you wrote, Rim, a stopwatch starts ticking.
Yeah.
Stopwatch starts going. The longer that stopwatch ticks, it's going to tick as long as they are engaging on your post. That could either be they're just sitting there reading it, or they're clicking your video and zooming in, or rewinding your video, or zooming in on your images, or reading your comments, whatever. As long as they're doing that, the stopwatch is going to continue to tick. And as long as it's ticking, you're going to get distribution. You could have one follower. If that one follower spent 10 minutes engaging with your post, that post is going to get shown to other people. And if
Right.
those, it's going to get shown to 5 more people. And if all 5 of those spend 10 minutes engaging on your post, it's going to get shown to 100 more people. And if all 100 of them spent 5 minutes engaging on your post, boom, you got a viral post with one follower. So people think that like there's some secret, or they need engagement groups, and
The
they need a
algorithm
hundred
hates them.
comments. No, the algorithm doesn't hate you. Your content blows. That's what it is. And nobody wants to read it. If you write stuff that people spend time reading, then it's going to get distributed. And the great part about that is don't worry about the followers. Get them on an email list. And who cares about your followers? Because you know now if you write good stuff or post good stuff that people spend time on, then you're going to get enough distribution to deplatform those people off of X and put them onto your email list. And
Right.
that's where you really establish the more intimate relationship.
So gone are the days of spending 3 hours a day commenting on bigger accounts.
I don't know why people do that. I don't understand it. I really don't understand. I mean, you should comment because you got buddies. Like I comment on people. I spend a few minutes a
If you
day.
actually have something to say, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you think like, and I respond to my own. I try to respond to. I spend like 10 minutes after I post, like responding to comments, and then I don't look at it again. And there's a reason for that too. But no, it shouldn't be like a strategy. If you're spending, if you're forever, I'm trying to think the best way to say this. If you spend 2 hours a day on social media, building your audience, 90% of that should be on the creation.
Okay.
10% is on the rest of the hokey crap. And yeah, I mean, if you're literally starting from zero, okay, you still need to have really great stuff. If you literally have 0 followers or 1 follower, you still need to have great stuff. I mean, I've been there. I started with zero, literally zero. I started with zero. And if you are starting with zero, you need to have great stuff. Commenting will maybe get you some profile visits, but it's not going to convert people. What are you going to do? Comment on Zuby, and people are going to be like, "Oh, this guy made an awesome comment on Zuby. He has 0 followers. Let me go follow him." No, they're going to follow you if you write really good stuff and it pops up in their feed. That's what you're trying. That's what you're
Yeah,
going
man.
for. And so if you really do have zero, then it is a good strategy still to network. I always preach this: find a group of guys or girls, whatever, who are taking it really seriously, and get a little Telegram group or something, get off the platform. And every time you guys post, go in and be like, hey, can you guys like spend 30 seconds messing with this post, comment, read it, zoom in on it, whatever, because that's what's going to get people, that's what's going to get you the distribution.
Okay.
And stop. I don't know, dude. I don't know why people spend so much time on comments. I have clients who still try to do it. And I'm like, how many followers are you gaining from this? You're just not. And you can go tell, you can see how many profile visits did it generate. The profile
Mhm.
visits are way lower relative to your impressions than they would be on any sort of original content. Way lower, way
Also,
lower.
man, am I supposed to quit my job? Like, how am I gonna spend time commenting
Yeah,
on
who has time for that crap?
300 posts a day? Dude, I got 9 to 5. I have kids. I got other
Yeah.
hobbies. I gotta work out. Like, I can't do this.
And look,
300 comments a day.
I'm glad people are commenting. I love when people comment on my stuff. Smart people, good comments. I hate the other thing that happens when you get a big following is just the haters come out left and right, come out of the woodwork. And that's why I stopped looking at posts after like 20 minutes. I don't read
Okay,
what, because I don't need that. I don't need that energy drain. I don't need to read that negativity.
for sure.
But I like when people comment. I'm grateful that people comment. I do think a lot of the advice, the quote advice of people giving that, telling the growth gurus, whatever, saying you need to comment a lot. That really only helps them, because what happens is people listen and then they go comment on that guy's post or that girl's post or whatever, and so
Yeah,
it does help. It helps the poster. A lot of comments helps them, but it doesn't help the people doing the comment. Really, not much.
right.
I mean, you could maybe just write a home run comment that goes viral and converts a few followers, but you would convert more with original
Dude,
content.
I couldn't do it. And look, for a while that's what everybody was saying. You gotta be commenting like, I don't know, like 3 hours a day, and you gotta bring value to your comment. But I mean, all these reply guys were just like regurgitating what the original poster said, and it's like slightly different words. I couldn't be that guy. I'm one of those that has to be authentic, and just I'll try to be funny, just if it comes out funny, and just be real. But I couldn't just force myself to come up with something just for the sake of commenting.
And here's just a psychological reason it doesn't work. People want to follow you because you're the man. They don't want to follow you because you're a fan. I just thought of that. That was good.
It's
There's
good
a
stuff.
They want to follow you because you're the man, not because you're a fan.
Write
And
it
if you
down.
if say they follow, I don't know, Tyler,
Yeah.
and their comment and their reply guy and Tyler, the people who are reading their comments love Tyler. They love him. They're a Tyler fan, but they don't want to follow Tyler's fans. They like I want to join like they want to if Tyler has fans who have great thoughts, they would be open to following them,
Yeah.
but they're automatically going to lump you in as a fan if you're the guy commenting, and so the conversion is going to be terrible. The conversion rate, I mean, from a comment, even if you drove 100 profile clicks, how many are you really going to convert out of that? 5, 10?
Yeah.
Which is just not going to get it done.
Got it. Listen, Harrison, a lot of people want to know, like, we know the business guy, we know your growth strategy. That's awesome. But like, we don't know so much about Harrison Shank, the father. What kind of father is Save Your Sons? Everybody's wondering that. Like, everybody like puts you up on a pedestal, right? Because you're a big deal online. Let's just face it, you're a big deal.
Uh,
So everybody's thinking, well, I wonder how Harrison handles a tantrum from his 4-year-old. So let's get into it. How do you handle a tantrum?
a tantrum. I can maybe start out a little higher, a little higher level. So something I talk about a lot in on calls. I've got also gotten to the point, dude, where I'm like sick of typing crap, which is another reason I like podcasts because it's video and I'm faster thinker, and I like
For sure.
writing. I'm good at writing. It got me where I am, but I'd much rather just go off the cuff.
Yeah.
But when I'm having conversations like this, I always tell guys, especially if they're about to become a dad, I say pick two or three guys, two or three men in your life that are older than you, your dad or friends' dads or uncles or your baseball coach, whatever it was, and make them your archetypes. So to think about, I did this. And when I was going to be a dad, I had three men who I looked at and I was like, we're really four because I'll count my granddad.
Okay.
But I looked at them and I said, there's a few things from each of these guys that I want to take. They do a few things each that I want to take all of those and turn it into me, my parenting style, my fatherhood style. And the guys were my dad, my uncle, my mom's sister's husband, and my father-in-law, my wife's dad, and my grandfather. And I took a couple things. They're all really different guys. They're all completely different personalities, life trajectories, all of it. But they all had a couple things about them where I was like, oh, if I could take that and I could take this part of my father-in-law and this part of my uncle and this part of my dad and this part of my granddad and combine them, it'd be the best dad ever. You'd be the greatest dad of all time. And what the pieces were, so my uncle is a great example. Is he was so much fun growing up. He was just freaking fun. He was, we would go to the beach every year for a week or two with my cousins. He was my cousin's dad,
Okay.
and he was the dad on the beach, leading the sandcastle, leading the digging. We're gonna dig to China. He would get us in a kayak and he'd say we're gonna circumnavigate the globe, and we were like little 8-year-old kids in life jackets, being like, "This is awesome." He was so much fun, and I remember that. And his kids turned out great, by the way. So there's something to what he did. But he never had a temper. He never let himself lose his temper. I never saw him lose his temper one time, ever,
That's huge.
which is rare because I spent a lot of time with this man. Still do. I never saw him lose his temper. He was always fun. He was always high energy. He was funny. He was cracking jokes with the kids. And the kids, as they get older, they were kind of like, all right, dad, whatever. But for me, I thought it was great because he wasn't my dad all the time. He was like my uncle that I saw sometimes. And just all of it, I was like, this is the attitude, the vibe, for lack of a better word. And so I try to take that. I try to take that from him and
Okay.
and use that. My dad's was he was really thoughtful. He thought about everything. He never did anything or said anything if he hadn't thought about what might come next. He was 2, 3 moves ahead all the time. He's really smart and an entrepreneur too. So I took that from him. My
Nice.
my my wife's dad is he runs the tightest ship I've ever seen in terms of his house. So he's always working on something. He's keeping it clean. He's fixing things that need to be fixed. There's never a light bulb out for more than 5 minutes in that man's house. And I took that from him. And my granddad was an entrepreneur too, and so I took some entrepreneurial lessons from him. And so that's been the strategy that I had going into this. What kind of dad do I want to be? Well, let me take these men that are in my life that I've known my whole life, or father-in-law I only knew the last 10 years. But let me take what's best from them and see if I can't. I'm not gonna be as fun as my uncle because it's me trying to copy him. But I
Right.
can I can I can get there. I can be like that. I can pull that in. I'm not gonna be as tight. I'm not gonna run as tight a ship as my father-in-law because he's handy. I'm not. But I can try and I can get a little bit better and I can focus on it. And so that's the big mental model that I've had from day one is who are these other guys that you can look to in your life? And a lot of guys will be like, well, I don't have anybody. They didn't have a dad. They don't have any male role models in their lives. And that happens.
Yeah.
And for guys like that, I'd say that's when you go to TV, movies, fiction. It's okay. You can get inspiration. You can take things from guys in that sphere too. And that's what I've tried to do. So handling a tantrum, I definitely first move is to channel my uncle
Okay.
and try to just completely shift the energy, because that's another thing as men and as dads, all of the energy in the house ultimately flows down from us. We're just by because we're, if for no other reason than we're bigger than everybody else, then that's enough for
Yeah.
the energy, just from the physics, that the energy flows out from us, but also because everybody in the house ultimately looks up to us, or wants to look up to us. If we don't deserve them to look up to us, they still want to, and they desire to. So the energy starts with us. And so if this works 60% of the time, 70% of the time, if my oldest is having a fit, just flip the energy completely. Do something completely off the wall that he's not expecting. And half the time, he's 60% of the time he's like, "What? What? I forgot what I was even mad about."
Yeah.
Because you're being that, you're fun, you're engaging, you're silly, whatever it is. That's my first go-to move. After that, if that doesn't work, you take them outside. You still try to change the environment. I'm all about, 4 years old, dude. Like, you can talk about emotions. We try to do that some, but they're just so, they don't understand their emotions. They just
Right.
understand that they feel bad right now.
You can't really
And
reason with them yet.
yeah, I mean, maybe 5, 6, you can. I don't know. Ask Jordan Peterson. I don't know, but but
He's next on the
they
podcast next week.
oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. He follows me. Never
He
I had
does.
yeah, I need to
Dude.
reach out. I need to say
Oh
what's up
man.
to him. I didn't talk to him.
Do it.
Um he does have good stuff for fatherhood.
Yeah.
Um as a piece of what he talks about. But yeah, dude. So I try to just understand that I'm the man in the house. People are looking to me for how they should act. And if I'm mad at him because he's mad, how's that going to help anything? It's not. It's
Yeah.
all it's going to do is he's going to see that energy from me and be like, "Oh, yeah, this is bad. Oh no, now I'm worse." Versus you just completely, it's like you just like amused mastery was what they used to say when you were like trying to get a girl with the old uh what do you call them, game message boards from the early 2000s. You would just be, you have to be above it all, and so calm, but also fun and light, and kids pick up on that, your wife picks up on that, everybody in your life picks up on that. And so
Yeah.
that's something that I have to try, that I try to remind myself all the time, and that I tell other guys.
Do you find it hard to do that sometimes? Are there days where you're just like feeling really tired and your patience is really low? And do you have an example of a time, I mean, a recent time where maybe you didn't lose it, but like you regret what you said, what you did, and oh man, I should have handled that better.
Yeah, it usually, if that happens, it's usually at the end of the day, bedtime, bro.
Yeah.
Bedtimes. Bedtimes are so hard. They're so freaking hard with little kids
Yeah.
because you're tired. You've been working all day, and then they're like so unreasonable, and they won't do anything. They won't follow simple direct, like, we're gonna brush teeth, and then they're like getting undressed and running down the stairs to go find a ball to throw at a window. Like, what? We were just about to brush teeth. How did this happen? And so it's usually bedtime where I really struggle the most. And those times I really do, it's me and my wife together getting through it. I don't know how I admire single moms and single dads,
I don't know how
because
they do it.
I couldn't do it. I don't know, man. I mean, I would maybe find a way, but it would be 1,000 times harder. And she's really good. She's what I always say about her. One of the main things I noticed about her when we were dating was her poise, and
Okay.
how I'm definitely the more fiery, emotional one. She's stoic. She's so calm. And so, like, a time like that, there's days, a couple times a month, where I'm like, "Morgan, I'm tapping out. I'm gonna say something I regret. I'm gonna do something I regret. I'm too tired from the end of the day. Bedtime. I got them bathed. You got to get them down." And so I think having that sort of understanding with your wife is really important, and we're lucky that we balance each other in that way. And again, I don't know what I'd do without her. But yeah, if it comes to that, it's usually at the end of the day. And I'm pretty good about seeing it coming,
Okay.
thankfully, and being like, I'm in the danger zone. Or if I'm like really hungry, if I hadn't eaten, I'll be in the danger zone, and I'll be like, I might need to tap out for a few minutes, and she'll pick up the slack, and then I help her out in the same way, and that's how we get through it.
Well, it's great that you can do that, and first that you have someone to rely on, and you can just tell your wife, "Listen, I just don't got it today," and she'll take over. That's awesome. But also that you can recognize your warning signals, right? Like if you feel your blood boiling and you're able to say, "Okay, I need to calm down because I'm going to say something I might regret later. I'm just going to go take a walk, and my wife's there, so it's all good." But I think a lot of people they have trouble with that. What's the biggest parenting issue you think we're facing today in our society?
Oh, the biggest issue. I mean, I think really, dude, the worst thing that's going on is parents just plopping their kids in front of devices. I think that creates so much. It's not just the device that creates the problem. It fans out, it compounds, it goes into a million different areas of your life. Yeah, like as an example, we rarely let our kids watch. They watch Sherwood, but they don't watch a lot of crap that other kids watch. But sometimes I'll put on a YouTube thing with like the kids playing with their toys, like that crap. If I'm there with them and I know that nothing else is going to come up weird in the algorithm
Right.
after that. But try what you watch that for 30 minutes and you turn that thing off, that overstimulating, hyper-stimulating garbage, turn it off. What you're doing is you're interrupting a constant dopamine drip that he's been getting in his brain for the last 30 minutes. It's literally the same thing as if you took a crack pipe away from a crackhead after he'd been hitting it for an hour. It's the same thing that's happening in their brain because it's getting lit up with dopamine and you're
Yeah.
cutting it off. And that's why they have tantrums. That's why they go nuts, and then that continues into the rest of their behavior for the rest of the day. And I think about it when my kid, once a month we watch something like that, but some kids are doing that 2 3 hours every single
Every
day,
day. Yeah.
every single day. Of course they're going to be a mess. Of course they're going to have way too much energy. Of course they're going to be behind in terms of emotional regulation because you're giving them unfettered access to dopamine with their tiny little brains that aren't even close to develop. And I think that, dude, if I had to pick one, it's been so eye-opening to see how other parents don't even worry about it. They don't even think about it. And they say, yes, this is it. This is our life now. iPads, screens, YouTube, algorithms, quick cutscenes, overstimulation, bright colors, loud noises, screaming kids in the shows. That's good. That's fine. And people have just accepted it. And I think that's a big, big root cause of not just issues when they're young, but issues that develop as they get older.
Is that the biggest reason why you and Jesse started Sherwood? Was noticing
Yeah,
all that, or how did that come about?
ultimately, dude, the way I've always thought about it is there's two things that are happening with the content. Like, I don't think the device is the problem. Now, iPads, I think we can do away with those completely. I don't even know what they're useful for, even as an adult. Like, I don't want to sit there and like mess around with an iPad screen. Give me a computer or a phone. But the device generally the device itself is not the problem. The problem is the content.
Yeah.
100%. The problem is the content. And there's two things wrong with content today, kids content or just general content, is that it's too addicting. It's like sugar. It's like pure. You might as well give them crack. Give them don't give them crack.
We'll
You give
scrap
them
that in the editing.
yeah, whatever. That's fine.
I'm kidding.
But you can get it's like if they just get like they're eating Sour Patch Kids all day. It's the same thing. It's
The
just
bright
pure.
colors, the constant action is and the episodes are like so short. They go like they're like 2 minute episodes and they go from
Yep.
one to the other and you don't even have the chance to press on stop. It just keeps going.
And now they started showing them like YouTube shorts will start popping up. And
For kids?
I came, yeah, dude.
Oh
The
man.
YouTube shorts for kids is bad. Because I was curious because this is what I do, and I and
Right.
I'm I was like, let me see what's actually out there. And one of the most popular ones I could find was just, it was, from what I could tell, it was just a cartoon with like little animals. And basically what they were doing was, for a 30-second short, they were just screaming. They were screaming, and there was like lights and music and sound. And then it would be about, I don't know, eating dinner, and they would go scream. And then there would be another one, and it'd be about using the bathroom or something weird like that. And they would scream. And it's just noise and color and distraction, and it's horrible. And people accept it. So the for me, it's always been about the content is what needs to change. And so there's that piece that's wrong with the content. It's just sugar. It's just overstimulating garbage for your mind and your soul. But
Yeah.
then also what really upsets me is how politicized the content has gotten. And I'm a firm believer. I don't want media, I don't want anyone else, especially anyone in media, telling my kids what they should believe and what they should think. I just don't. You can teach them about science, that's great. You can teach them about some history, that's great. I don't, I want to be the one building their value system. I want to
Yeah.
be the one doing that. I want to be the one teaching them about what I think is important and what I think matters as young men. And as we have a daughter, as young women, my wife will help a lot with that. I don't need that coming from Hollywood. I don't need that coming from Disney. I don't need that coming from Google. I don't want that. But the media companies, the big tech and big media have assumed this position of, well, we're the arbiters of morality, and we're the arbiters of value. And obviously I don't really align very well with the dominant value system in mainstream media. And so I don't want that either. And it was really hard to find content that didn't have one or both of those. It was almost impossible. So it may be truly agenda free, but it's just pure sugar garbage, or it may be peaceful and calm, but it's just loaded with agendas that I don't want my
Yeah.
kids to have to be exposed to. Or usually it's both. And that was, for me, that was like when Jess built Sherwood, he showed it to me. Uh, when was it, last, probably August, something like that, when it was about to be finished.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, this is it. This is it. This is what we need. And so I had already been making my podcast, Froggy the Gator, for my kids, really, but a lot of other kids like it now too, with the same idea, the same ethos. We were coming at it from different directions. He wanted to own the distribution, I wanted to own the IP. And it was, I want stuff that's peaceful. I want stuff that isn't preaching at kids one way or the other. I don't want them, I don't want right or left preaching at my kids. I teach my kids, not you. And that's what spawned Froggy the Gator. And it was also the driving ethos behind Sherwood. And so I licensed Froggy the Gator to the Sherwood platform into last year, and Jess and I stayed in touch, and he was launching, and he was like, yeah, I need a help. I need some help in this. I need a partner in this. I want a partner in this. And so we joined up earlier, whenever, February this year. And it's an incredible platform, incredible thing that the world needs right now. And it's something that is obviously really near and dear to my
Dude, my son loves Froggy the Gator. He's 6 years
heart.
old, and the way he listens to the stories, and you see him, because it's a read along, right? So he's not watching the video, he's just listening to it and the words. And kudos on the vocabulary, man.
Yeah.
You're saying
My
some
law
big
school,
words in
dude.
there.
So that's
That's
law
what it
school for you.
is.
That's, yeah, I keep my diploma on the floor over here. I use it as a prop on calls, but it was good for one thing. It taught me a lot of words.
Yeah, man, but it's good. It encourages kids to learn about more difficult words and to gain an edge in society, and instead of dumbing it down like some of these YouTube videos that you can find. So, and it's very creative stuff, and you got lessons in there, life lessons, moral stories. It's very well done. And how do you make it?
Each episode, yeah, behind the scenes, each episode, I have to do them fast. It doesn't work if it's not fast,
Really?
because as much as I love it, yeah, I got to make it. It's not a money maker. If it's ever a money maker, so it has to be fast. It doesn't work if it's not efficient. And what I do is, it's really helpful when kids write in ideas, because I'll ask kids, like, you have an idea for an episode, and they'll say the funniest stuff, dude. They'll be like, I want Gershwin to build a treehouse, and then he finds a golden egg. and be like, all right, I guess we'll make it. I guess I'll make a show about that. But having that just that one little prompt is really actually helpful because I don't have to think of it. And then
Okay.
and so I spend each episode's almost exactly 1,300 words. I type about 100 words a minute. I type straight up train of thought. So it takes me 15 minutes to write 1,300 words.
Wow.
And yeah, and I've done 150 of them now, 160 of them now. And so I do that in 15 minutes. I record it immediately. And I have I spent my early career while I was in law school, I was also a professional musician. And so I'm really good at audio engineering and I'm really fast and efficient at that.
Okay.
And so I load my file in there, I get all my music going, I overlay the music where it's appropriate. That takes me another 30 minutes or another 15, 20 minutes. If the shows are like 8, 9 minutes long, it'll take me 15 minutes, double the time of the show to get the music right. And then I spend 15 minutes making the cover. So 45 minutes an hour, episode's done. And I post it. And I try to do 2 a week. I did start a video. I was working on a video version of the puppet show, Froggy the Gator puppet show.
Okay.
That will also be on the YouTube channel. But for parents who just want the audio, that's not going anywhere. And it's
Yeah.
every podcast platform, YouTube, all that.
Good. And Sherwood.
Yep, and Sherwood.
And dude, I can't say enough good things about it. And honestly, for all the listeners, I recommend it 100%. My kid loves it. He's on a rotation right now of Froggy the Gator, Winnie the Pooh, which is just look, it's a classic. Everybody loves
Classic.
that. Wholesome stuff, you know, and Mighty Mouse.
Yep. Mighty Mouse
And
is so good.
it's yeah, dude, yeah, so fun. And you can find what is it like? You guys are up to like 4,000 books, audiobooks, and shows on there. What's the number
Yeah,
now?
audiobooks, shows, ebooks. We're adding more podcasts because that's a really popular good. I love that as a medium for adults and kids. I think it's such a higher IQ medium than just like vegging on shows. For kids too. I think it's really, really good for them. And so we're adding more of those. 4,000 plus more get added every day. I mean, it's a no-brainer, dude. It's like $8 a month or something. It's so
That's
easy.
awesome. And also, we got a gift for you. So everybody's listening. Go to sherwoodkids.com, enter discount code REMDWM. So that's REMDWM, and you'll get 35% off any of the plans, right, man?
Yeah, I think that's right. It makes it even more of a no-brainer. So,
Yeah, that's
what are
just
you waiting
awesome.
for?
Do it. It's worth it. Harrison, listen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciated you joining me on Dads with Mikes. Everybody's waiting for this one, so I can't wait to release it. So thanks again. Let us know what are you working on right now? What's your main gig right now, and where can people find you if they don't know? But I think people know.
Well, I hope I didn't disappoint. I know I talked a lot. That's usually good for something. Uh,
That's awesome.
for better or worse. So we got Sherwood. We talked about that. Check out Froggy the Gator. I've got my fathereyes.com. It's a business incubator for dads who want to get some extra income, want to leave their job, maybe just want more time with their kids, more money to spend on their kids, whatever they want to do. We're helping dads do that. Fathereyes.com. It opens officially on June 12th, but we're taking pre-waitlist spots right now. And if you sign up at the beginning while the waitlist is open, you get a huge discount. So you can do that at fathereyes.com. And I think that covers it. That's it, man. Save your sons. Save your sons. X. Save.your.sons on Instagram. What
All the
it's all
links are
good,
there.
man.
I'll put all the links in the show notes. So for you guys, for Sherwood, for the Father Rise Incubator, and obviously Save Your Sons. Thanks again, man. I appreciate this.
Hey, brother, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.